every time that Nigerians needed to come out, you understand, and defend their votes. I'm not asking for the revolution. I'm not asking for military coup d'etat. I'm not asking for forceful takeover. As long as Nigeria continues to keep quiet, keep silent, in the face of all this oppressive conduct, mismanagement of our resources, by people that they don't have the brains that you have, but they are fortunate to be there because of the malfeasance by the electoral officials, then it will only get worse. So we must say never, never again. We can't just be big, we can't just be in our rooms, just be in social media and be talking, criticizing. No, it's high time we started taking action. How do we take actions? You're not going to chairman that is stealing your money. What have you done? I called persons that defect from one political party to another using frivolous excuses. I call them political prostitutes.
Welcome to the inaugural episode of 10 Angles TV, the TV podcast where current events meet in-depth conversation with understanding. Join the discussion on our social media handles, the 10 Angles TV on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. In this episode, we are tackling a contentious issue in Nigeria's political landscape: party defections. While some view this phenomenon as a necessary evil for political survival, others condemn it as a scandalous tactic that undermines democratic principles. Our guest today, Kunle Edun SAN, will offer his expert insight on this complex topic. Kunle Edun is a distinguished human rights activist and jurist, renowned for his contribution to Nigerian jurisprudence. His impressive record of service to humanity has earned him numerous accolades and awards. Kunle Edun, thank you for joining us on the program. I am Linus Chima, and with my colleague Ebori, we'll be exploring the motivations behind and implications of party defections in Nigerian politics. Stay connected with 10 Angles TV on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But before we go ahead in today's program, we want to ask him certain things about democracy. Democracy in Nigeria 26 years on is something that we have been celebrating ever since 1999. And President Bola Tinubu is on the saddle at this particular point in time. How far, how well with our democracy?
Thank you very much. What we are having in Nigeria, like I said earlier, is a civilian. Everything that we have been doing so far, particularly with regards to the electoral process, there's no element of democracy in it. Because if we are talking about democracy, we are talking about government that has to do with the people being directly involved. They take ownership of it. The simplest definition is, like we were taught in secondary school, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That definition, you understand, aligns with every person in Nigeria, particularly those from the lowest end. You understand? So in a situation where the lowest end, the voters, they cannot confidently say that this is the person that we actually voted for, and our votes, you understand, counted. You can't call that democracy. We are just living by. We are not living by pretend everything is okay. So I will not deny the fact that we don't have some modicum of improvements in terms of the electoral process. So it is still work in progress. But my final take on it is that we could have done better. And we can still do far better. Go back 26 years.
Yes.
26 years in a man's life. You know what it means?
It means if a child was born there, yes, that child has gone to primary school, has gone to secondary school,
university,
has gone to university,
probably married.
And very bright ones by national have become professors.
So we are still crawling. And the reason why we are still crawling in the democratic journey is because the persons that are there in the National Assembly, various government houses, most of them are not the right persons. The good persons amongst us have refused to participate, to come out and stand for election.
Maybe when you start for election.
So that one small boy somewhere, one talk somewhere will not start threatening my life. And when you run to the police will say, sorry, there's nothing you can do about it. I'm telling you.
So what do you think is the way out? Are we going to have a trajectory where the good ones will always stay away so that the bad ones will be coming in to hijack the process, take over the process? Is there any way forward?
Thank you very much. I think it's high time that Nigeria needed to come out, you understand, and defend their votes. You understand? And needed to say enough is enough. I'm not asking for revolution. I'm not asking for military coup d'etat. I'm not asking for forceful takeover. But I'm saying that, look, when Nigerians, as long as Nigeria continues to keep quiet, keep silent, in the face of all this oppressive conduct, mismanagement of our resources, by persons that they don't have the brains that you have, but they are fortunate to be there because of the malfeasance by the electoral officials, then it will only get worse. So we must say never, never again. We can't just be in our rooms, just be in the social media and be talking, criticizing. No, it's high time we started taking action. How do we take actions? Your local government chairman that is stealing your money, what have you done? The traditional ruler, what have you done? In various localities, what have you done? To what else have you asked the local government chairman to give account? The commissioner that represents you.
But the local government chairman does not give account to us directly. What the local government chairman does is to give account to the legislative arm, who are also our representatives.
No, you are very wrong on that. I think I'll correct you. You are very wrong on that. Every elected official, you understand, represents a set of persons, and they have their localities. So, like we have in the US, town hall meetings. For crying out loud, I have never attended nor invited to any town hall meeting in Warri here, and to the best of my knowledge, none has been organized or called for by our representatives in the National Assembly or even in the State House of Assembly. They owe us that duty to account for everything they have done in the National Assembly and the State House of Assembly. The governor owes us that responsibility. The local government chairman, who is at the grassroots level, owes us that responsibility. And by the way, you know that in terms of financial autonomy, local government now have financial autonomy. Monies are now being paid directly to them. You understand? So that money is not for their own use. They are just there as the money. The local government are just there as trustees. Yes. The monies are meant for the people. But when it comes, okay, how are you going to use the monies? The people have to get involved. The community, the various president general of the communities in that locality, in that local government, the traditional rulers, the religious leaders, then the youth president in that community, all of us must come together and say, Mr. Local Government Chairman, this is what we need to sit down and decide what to do with these monies that have come. It is not the prerogative of the local government chairman.
Okay, all right, sir.
And that is what we are not doing.
All right. Who's to blame for that? Is it the public?
We blame ourselves. We blame ourselves.
Should we be asking the local government chairman, the governor, the president?
You know why I said we blame ourselves? You know why I said, look, we cannot continue to be saying president. You understand? Let us start from the grassroots.
Okay, that's right.
Yes. Now, instead of asking them to account, what do we do? Once somebody is elected as local government chairman, they invite him, they give him a traditional title.
Okay, sir. So away from the challenges of our democracy and how we are trying to improve it, let's go to the significance of the day itself. Somebody made it possible, almost retired itself, fighting for democracy. And every democracy day, every June 12th day, some people are even saying they should call it MKO Abiola Day. Every June 12th day, the president makes significant pronouncements and statements most times. I want to look at it. We hear from the grapevine that there are pressure on the president to lift the state of emergency in Rivers State. And that's not even the concern that bothers me. The concern that bothers me is that from a lot of bloggers and some news platforms, we hear that the president, it is possible that the president could declare pardon on James Ibori, former governor of Delta State. My concern is, from the point of the law, somebody was convicted in the UK. Can the president grant James Ibori pardon in Nigeria?
The question is actually loaded, but I'm going to give you my opinion on them. But before I do that, let me honor those that actually fought for made June 12 possible. I respect the person of Sheikh Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, may so rest in peace. He fought for democracy, and it is by dint of his hard work and his sacrifice, and others, many others, Like even his wife, I think BC Abiola, and there are legends that are still alive to today. Femi Falana, like I told you, and Olisa Gbakoba, many others. They also fought for democracy. You understand? I honor all of them, and I pray that it continues to be well with them. However, the question is that have we really reaped from the benefit of June 12th? You see, that's how the person we have as the president of the federal government of Nigeria happens to be among those persons that fought for the June 12th, right? So of the June 12th. You understand? Yes, in then Nadeko. But what we are seeing today seems to be like we have not really taken serious consideration of what June 12th actually stood for and continues to stand for. June 12th stands for fair electoral process. Because that was, I actually voted. I was in Abeokuta. I was a university student. I voted. You understand? Option A4. And my vote counted. You cannot say the same of today. You cannot. It's either ballot snatching or the IREB will have issue or INEP becomes okay. We are going to rely on IREB. At the end of the day, IREB is okay. We are not relying on INEP for crying out loud. What kind of electoral system is that? Because every electoral system must have certainty. We must know the process we are going to, the route we are going to take in the electoral process. But if midway it is not changed, it becomes an issue. And that brings in the issue of confidence in the electoral system. Nigerians don't really seem to have confidence in the electoral system as it is today. And that is why we continue to have far reduced number of persons voting. They're checking it. Probably next election, most people will not even go out and vote. Because they already have a view that what are we going to vote for? Is this the same system? You understand? Now, you mentioned the fact that whether the president can grant prerogative of mercy or pardon somebody that has been convicted of crime relating to fraud by a foreign country. That issue has not really come before any Nigerian court. You understand? Our jurisprudence does not have any settled authority on that. And I don't know how the president is going to do it. You understand? Because no, it doesn't happen that way. Prerogative of mercy would only come in if a person has been convicted by Nigerian courts. You understand? By Nigerian courts. If you are not convicted by Nigerian court, then prerogative of mercy cannot even come in. Pardon cannot really come in. Because the offense that was alleged that James Ibori, the former governor of Delta State, the offense that he was alleged to have committed the complainant was not the Nigerian government. It was not prosecuted by the Nigerian government. You understand?
It's an ex-convict.
It's an ex-convict, generally, yes. Ex-convict. But the question whether it can be granted pardon by the president, I don't think it is legally possible. I don't like to wriggle out of it. I don't think it's legally possible. The law is settled there that it's only when a Nigerian court has convicted that person that applications can be made to the Committee of Prerogative of Mercy. You understand? I recommend pardon. That president should pardon that person. But this is not the situation in this case. I don't know how it's going to be possible. But this is Nigeria.
And it can happen.
It is well.
And there's something that also has been happening that some people see that as if it poses a danger to our democracy. And that is defections from one political party to the other. From what I have here, in the 50s, it used to be called cross-carpeting.
Yes, cross-carpeting. That was what we were taught in school, cross-carpeting.
But I think it has upgraded itself to the point that we now call it defection from one political party to another. The first cross-carpeting was in 1964 when some members of the Action Group crossed over to NCNC in the assembly. So today it has matured to defection. Since 1999 till today, we have had series of reports of politicians crossing from one political party to the other. Don't you think that this is a threat also to our democracy in this country?
Which major politician in Nigeria has not really defected?
Only me.
No, you're not a politician. Politicians are those that, you know now, not people like you and I. Most of them have defected from one party to the other.
Yes.
But I know the President Tinubu would justify that, look, what he did was not defection. You understand, from AC to ACN to APC.
Yes.
You understand? Okay, that may not be termed as defection in the real sense of it. But most of them have already defected from one existing political party to another existing political party. You understand? And look, that is a no-no for any democracy to be fairer. It's a no-no. I called persons that defect from one political party to another using frivolous excuses. I call them political prostitutes. They are not there to serve the interests of the people. They are not there. And look at the reason some of them give. You understand that we have decided that, and after consulting with our constituents, which constituents? They don't. The constituents that they have consulted with probably will be their godfathers. And that is why I'm really surprised that in Delta State, which is a strong PDP state, would have the governor, who is my very good friend, and the entire cabinet, local government chairman, all of them defecting to APC.
They were ordered and directed to defect.
I said, for what reason? The entire house meeting head in your community. Oh, before we knew what, they all defected. And let me tell you one thing, the Constitution abhors it.
Yes,
the Constitution abhors it.
We're coming to that.
Yes, let me just delve into that. The Constitution abhors it. Because what the Constitution says, with respect to, actually, what the Constitution provides for related to defection is more with respect to legislators.
Yes.
Section 108 of 109 of the Constitution and 68 of the Constitution. Look, if you are defecting for the legislators, if you are defecting from one particular political party to another, you understand, you just have to leave your seat will be declared vacant. That is it, because the votes do not belong to you. They belong to that particular political party. That is one thing that Nigerians should know. If we are voting for the political parties, not for the individuals. So, let us, like Delta State now.
Is this a settled matter? Because some governors have been taken to court, some legislators have been taken to court to decide who the votes really belong to. Has it been settled?
No, that is settled. The votes belong to the political parties, even under our laws. Belong to the political parties. The problem is that, let me tell you the problem. Let me tell you the practical reality. You have a house of assembly. Let's use River State as a good example.
Yes,
you have a house of assembly where majority of the members defected to 27. Thank you, to APC. You understand? And of course, it was known to the whole world. They will filed an affidavit admitting that they defected. It was celebrated by the APC. You understand? And the speaker, who now later became the minority, you understand, now declared their seat vacant and wrote letters to INEC to conduct a by-election to fill those vacancies. You understand? Now, let me tell you the reality there. Now, who would carry out the instructions of the speaker that those vacant office seats should be filled? Is it not INEC?
Sure.
So where does INEC take its instructions from? Now, before you know what
INEC is supposed to be
independent.
But don't you also see that the independence of INEC in this instance you are giving has been eroded or hijacked by the judiciary by the pronouncement?
I was coming to that. Before INEC was able to do anything, before we knew what, several cases were flying around everywhere up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court recently held. You understand the role of the Supreme Court that though it was not part of the substantive issues before the Supreme Court.
Sure. But
by the wayside, the Supreme Court made a pronouncement on it that defection was incoherent. It was not a completed process. So that keeps that matter. But to the common man on the streets, say, what is happening?
yes,
This guy told me they have defected. I know they have defected. This is the video. This is the affidavit. What's our court saying? But the judgment of the Supreme Court is binding. And now look at another reality again. In Delta State now, all the members of the House of Assembly defected to APC. Now, by virtue of the Constitution, section 1092 and 68.2,
yes,
you understand, the Speaker of the House of Assembly of Delta State ought to, you understand, give effect to the provision of section 68.1g no, 68, 109G of the Constitution, which declares which is to declare those seats vacant.
But he also.
So who will declare the seat vacant in Delta State when the Speaker himself has also defected? So these are the constitutional the loopholes that we need to see how we can fill in by way of constitutional.
But one of the loopholes they are hinging on to is that constitutionally they have reason now to defect without any rancor. That the party they are defecting from at the national level is in disarray. There is is rudderless. There is no clear leadership.
Sir, is PDP actually in disarray? They have a national office. They have national officers. They do that. Some of these politicians, because of their personal interests, some personal purpose, they like giving different definitions of when a party is in disarray. The national office is in disarray. To me, PDP is still a political party. They have a city chairman. They have national secretariat, and nobody has said that it is not working. You understand? And probably, like I said, the constitutional amendment process that we are going through now, probably they need to look into that area, because the whole system of defection has been abused completely by our politicians from the top to the bottom.
With the connivance of the judiciary.
I would not necessarily say with the connivance of the judiciary. The thing is that it is the case, the facts of the case that you take to court, that the judiciary would interpret the law, and if you are not satisfied, you go to the court of appeal, after the court. But I must admit here that the judiciary has not really done well in this regard. The judiciary has not done well at all. There are times when the judge needs to look, this is the constitution. Yes. Be proactive. Because we're talking about the larger interest. What is the larger interest? The country. Now, because of a pronouncement of a particular court, you understand, that favor these political prostitutes, and that's why we're having more defections. Probably if we had had a strong pronouncement, you understand, that kept the provisions of the Constitution alive, probably all these things would have stopped. So the judiciary actually has a lot of role to play in this. But have they done well? I don't think so.
Okay, so for the sake of national interest, let's even look at the implication of all of this, because the defection in itself, just like you have elaborated in your summation, means different things to different people. Yeah. For instance, for the opposition, it is like the ruling party is pushing for state capture. Because the excuse is that they are trying to unite Nigeria and all that. But you are in a multi-party democracy. You have not tinkered with our constitution to make it a one-party state. Now you are pushing for state capture. Where does this lead us in this journey of even trying to improve our democracy?
Added to that, just before you answer that.
If you mix it up, I may have an issue.
I just want to add a little to it so that perhaps will also be well guided. During the IBB regime, he set up a constitutional committee to look around, and they came up with just two political parties, SDP and NRC. Now, under democracy, we are more or less bringing ourselves to a one-party state.
Thank you. It's a right of every Nigerian to join any political party. There's right to freedom of association. You can join any association, any political party. That is your right. Nobody will take it away from you. You understand? Look, I am not really bothered that the governors of PDP are decamping to AP. I'm not bothered about it, really, frankly speaking. But what we should be bothered more is the people. Because the power lies in the hands of the people. You have your voter's card. I have my voter's card. You have yours. On election day, we will know whether all this defection will work. It is just for us to go and vote for the right persons. The fact that, remind you, Jonathan once had about 27 governors or something endorsing him. What happened at the end of it? So it still goes back to the people. Not necessarily. Look, let me tell you one thing. Delta State is a strong PDP state. You understand? I'm not a politician. I'm talking based on records, historical records. Mm-hmm. You understand? I don't know how they're going to convert Delta states to APCs. I don't know how they're going to do it. But it is still within the prerogative of the people to decide who to vote for. Not even these leaders. You can't come and force me, Kunle, vote for this. I dare you. You understand? So if other Nigerians, I want this opportunity to enjoy other Nigerians, please, your voter's card is your power. This time around, 2027, please use it well. Your 1,000 naira, your 2,000 naira, please, all those are just, they mean nothing to you. Because these politicians are just out there to loot, and they are looting this country dry. So we need to do better for our sake and for our children, generations to come, to do the right thing.
But we started by saying that the votes are hardly counted. And then we are in a process where these people are trying to even hijack the process. So for me, I see them even deciding the election before the election.
At least we must go out and vote first. Let me tell you one thing. Probably if 70% of the electorates can come out and vote, I don't know how they're going to read it. I don't know.
IRF may not work.
That is, but the thing is that I just pray that these people don't break up this country and or cause a revolution, because the people can just get annoyed. You know what? You remember what happened? EndSARS. Look, it takes a small issue to cause a bigger problem, a revolution. You know how the Arab Spring started?
A child that was hungry to
But in all of this, when are we going to have the judiciary actually giving us the backing we want? Because almost every election, from presidential to even councillors, most of the elections, they are decided. There are two elections: the elections by INEC and the election by the selection by the court. Almost all the elections are going to the court for decision.
That is very problematic.
We had it to the extent that somebody who was fought in a primary became who was fought in the overall standing of the result became governor. So what?
And he is serving his second term now.
Yes. So when is the judiciary actually going to be up and give us the hope we need?
Yes, thank you very much. That's why I said we're not really practicing democracy. We are practicing civilian rule. In a country where most of the elective offices are decided by the judiciary, that is not really democracy. They should be decided by the people. Exactly. So probably we may need constitutional amendment. Mind you, remember that before now, gubernatorial elections, with regards elections disputes, never went to the Supreme Court. It terminated at the Court of Appeal. Probably we need to get back to that. Supreme Court should not even get involved in electoral processes, apart from that of the presidential election. You understand? We'll be shocked, particularly in the River State, with regards to local government elections. The matter went to the Supreme Court. Are you not shocked? That is not right. It's not right. The Supreme Court is overburdening itself. You understand? And probably we need to see how more powers can now be given to the people to decide who to lead them, not the courts. The courts should decide that. The court deciding that defeats the essence and the true definition of democracy.
All right. That's interesting. We have with us Kunle Edun SAN, and we have been talking about the Nigerian democracy. We took off from the point of the June 12th election. We're not talking about defection by political actors presently on the turf. Nigeria needs to get its democracy right, because behind the democracy is the success of this country. SAN, one of the effects of this is the fact that the people do not seem to have trust in democracy anymore. How are we going to revive the interest? How can the interest of the people be revived in democracy? Because, as it is said, that is the power of the people.
Frankly speaking, let me admit that I don't even know again. Because the people have been so impoverished. Now, for you to even come out to say you want to contest for, under any of these political parties, for councillorship, they even call 2 million naira or 1.5 million naira. If you
must have a sponsor.
A sponsor. And if you are a retired civil servant that did not steal money, certainly you're out of it, because you will never get that kind of money. So it takes probably somebody who has stolen or acquired ill-gotten wealth to be able to afford all these nomination fees of 50 million, 100 million, 25 million. Come, you think if I want to contest for as a senator, under any of this political party, go for their primaries, everything, and they have to bring 25 and say for waiting. And people coming to help you to see how we can make this country right. Then why should I be paying this much? That is a wrong signal. The domination fees, that is where the corruption starts. Somebody that has paid 25 million naira, if he gets into the office, what do you think he will do?
He will first get his 25.
Thank you. Corruption starts from there. So probably our electoral act would need to be amended. You understand? Probably
to make it more competitive.
Not necessarily more competitive. Probably they need to like put a cap. You understand? Why should I pay 1 million max? 1 million max. Because these are persons, they claim they are coming to serve the people. If I'm coming to serve the people, why should I be paying this much? So that way, you understand, many Nigerians cannot come and say, okay, I want to contest. And you now see the real Nigerians. I'm telling you, the real Nigerians will also come out. But let me tell you one thing, the better solution. Do you know the better solution? Independent candidates. I'm surprised that the constitutional amendment process going on, it was one of the bills presented, but they knocked it out. Because if you have a popular person, for example, within Warrior, he can only say, okay, I'm going to contest for chairmanship. He doesn't need any political party because the constitution allows it. You know he will win.
And the people will come out and vote for
him.
He resonates
because,
with them.
Thank you, because he wouldn't need any godfather. But the National Assembly removed it. And these are the persons that we set there, allegedly set there to represent us. So they are anti-people. That's my own view. Why would you remove independent
candidates? They want to keep encouraging gerontocracy so that their children can become it, because they will have the money to buy for their children.
Thank you.
To take over from them.
So by doing that, you have shut out a larger segment of the society. Who constitutes the larger segment? The impoverished people.
How can that impoverished subsector of Nigeria be armed with what is necessary to change the politics?
Thank you very much. You know what? Let us start. Next election, vote out every person. Vote out all your legislators that have participated in passing anti-people's bills. Let me give you a quick one. Vote out those persons that supported the declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State. Vote them out. Those are not Democrats. Because you cannot be having emergency rule where you have a retired, in fact, I won't call it a military man, whether retired or not, is still a military man. What we have in Rivers is a military rule. National Assembly voted for it. Vote all those persons that approved the proclamation, which is unconstitutional. You understand? Because there was no basis for it. Everybody that voted for it, vote them out. Let us start with that. Probably with that, we'll be sending messages to people. Look, things are changing. But the problem is that Nigerians, are we ready?
Nigerians, are we ready? Egufe, are Nigerians ready?
The conversation continues.
And so that is how we draw the curtain on this edition of the program, Ted and